damn, it's like the light just shining on me and shit, like I'm about to go to heaven or something. Like, let me find out. All right, so, you know, on a day-to-day, just being observant and looking at the trends and shit like that go on social media, even the things that happen around me in my real personal life and shit like that, I've noticed that for the most part, people are not really content and happy with their circumstances, not happy with their life. And it's like a disease. You feel me? And the word disease in itself, you know what I'm saying, is dis-ease. Like, people not relaxed, people not cool, calm, collected, and just okay with themselves. You feel me? So I look at it like, damn, King's disease. Everybody needed the validation. Everybody want to be noticed. And I've been there. You feel me? I've been in a space where I felt like maybe I'm not content with my life because the people around me are not validating it, or I'm not getting enough likes, so I'm not getting enough attention. You feel me? Maybe I felt like that before, you know, to some extent. So I'm not going to act like I don't understand it. I mean, it's kind of natural for you to want your peers, your family, your community to support you or shit like that. But I feel like this King's disease shit come from more of a deeply rooted space. It come from a space of like a child that didn't quite get the recognition that it needed. A child that never got enough hugs, or felt like it never got enough notoriety, right? And it really made me think about the Lion King and think about Scar, his character, and how he just couldn't just be a part of the kingdom, couldn't be a part of the tribe, couldn't be a part of what was already, you know, feeding him. Like, he needed the recognition. He needed to be seen as the king, and he was willing to do any and everything to dethrone his brother and take over a kingdom he couldn't truly rule. You feel me? So I feel like just looking out here in the world and looking at, like I said, the things I see on social media and even in my personal life, I feel like people not happy with their seat at the table. There's people out here that's walking around just with this deep level of discontentment because of the lack of validation from others. You feel me? And it's like, damn, why you can't just sit at the table and play your part and be great in your own respective right? Why you got to try to swerve over somebody else's lane and allow yourself to start to feel jealous and envious or depressed and stressed out about where you not at? You feel me? And this shit been coming up over and over in small little subtle ways. Just in my personal life, I'm seeing that a lot of people are not, they got a lot of shit, they got a lot of toys, they got money. To me, it seemed like I'm not going to say they should be happy, but count your blessings. You feel me? Don't be like Scar. Like, Scar had access to the whole jungle. His brother was the king. His nephew was the prince. You feel me? So why you can't just be happy with your seat at the table? And this take me back to think about Judas. Like, damn, Judas, you was Jesus' right-hand man. What happened? Like, why you had to opt out? Like, why people have to opt out? And when I think about the character Scar in The Lion King, I think about the nature of the ego. The nature of our ego is accumulation. And when I say that, I mean it on many different levels. Just the way that we think of ourselves, right? We have a story always playing in our heads. We have a narrative that's always going on. So it's like you kind of feel like you have an idea of who you are. And a lot of times that idea of who you are comes from, like I always say, outside sources. So because you was fed these images about yourself from these outside sources, you wind up needing to keep being fed by these outside sources and you wind up just needing a lot of validation. You wind up needing a lot of pats on the back and a lot of hugs and a lot of likes and a lot of hearts and shit like that and a lot of views. And I'm just looking like, damn, why people not content at what they do? Why they not content at who they are? And it's because most people are outward driven, always looking at the next person, always looking at the next thing. Even if they do have some form of success in the area, they look at somebody else that had a little bit more success, or it seemed like they have a little bit more success. So now they feel like that shit ain't enough. And that's crazy. But that is the nature of our ego. Our ego accumulates a narrative, it accumulates a story, and it only can exist through accumulation. It can never be happy and content with the moment. It always has to carry on, like I said, a story and a narrative. So it's like, okay, and that's where we get the upgrade syndrome from. It's a real disease. It's really a disease because you're not content. You're not at ease with yourself. You feel me? You're not relaxed. You always jittery, always on to the next thing, always looking at the next person, always in competition. And it be coming out in subtle ways. So that's what really brought me to the Lion King scenario, and to think about the rise of Simba, right? Now, when we talk about Simba, the name in itself means born leader, right? So you can't be a leader if you constantly looking to the left of you, looking to the right of you, worrying about yesterday, worry about tomorrow, worry about what you don't have instead of worry about what you do have. You get what I'm saying? To be a born leader, you have to walk a path that nobody else has walked. So you can't look to your left, you can't look to your right and be worried about what's on another man or woman plate. You feel me? So I see this type of shit and feel it and sense it in people's speech. You know, I look at women online when I see their pictures and I'm like, damn, every woman got their back turned, showing they rear and shit like that. And I'm like, damn, that's what you feel is that you have to offer. You feel what I'm saying? That's what you feel is valuable. I see that everybody is clinging to what they believe is valuable, right? And it's always based on an outside reference, an outside point. So you hear motherfuckers arguing and shit like that, and they be like, I got this, I got that. You don't got this. What you talking about? I had this. I had this. I accomplished this and shit like that. And it'd be like, yeah, that's cool. But if you accomplish something and you feel that that's is what it is, it speak for itself. You don't have to constantly boast about it. You don't have to constantly post it. You don't have to constantly remind people of who and what you are. Your presence is going to speak for itself. The statistics are going to speak for itself. And not only that, when it comes down to it, when you got to go to sleep at night with yourself, it really don't matter. It shouldn't really matter. But we living in a material world right now. And you can just look around you right now. It's pretty much just breaking down more and more every day. You go in the grocery stores now, there ain't no water, ain't no tissue. People more worried about their health and shit like that. Well, they should be. So it's less about how many chains you got on. It's less about how many views you got, how many likes you got. But it's still people that are suffering from Kingz disease, that's still seeking that validation, still seeking that that pat on the back. And this the thing, that shit could be really used against you, to go against your own kind, to overlook yourself. And that's a sad existence. That's a very, very sad existence. So when we talk about Kingz disease, we talking about an unchecked ego. And I remember in my days more being ego driven, more being worried about how many points I scored, what kind of designer shoes I have on, what type of chick I'm messing with, what type of car I'm driving, what's the next club I'm going to. You feel what I'm saying? These are empty things that if you look for this to feed you and look for this to validate you, you're going to be searching forever. It's like when they put the carrot in front of the donkey, and he just constantly walking, constantly going, and just one day I'm gonna get this motherfucking carrot. One day I'm gonna eat it, and just never get it. You know, I got all type of friends, all type of family, and I see a lot of discontentment in people on different levels. Talk to people and they constantly, like I said, pointing at what should make them happy. You feel me? What should make them content. But when I look in their eyes, I'm like, your eyes are sad. You got a smile on your face, you take a lot of pictures, but your eyes are sad. And I wonder, like, damn, what happened to the simple life? What was wrong? What's wrong with the simple life? What's wrong with the day-to-day? I will be getting this Dunkin' endorsement. We're going to speak it into existence. America does run on Dunkin'. America runs on Dunkin'. And the reason why I say I'm going to get a Dunkin' endorsement is because I walked a lot of miles to work for them. I learned a lot working at Dunkin', man, just about myself. And that being able to kind of help me get my ego under control. Because I had came from a place of like being able to drive certain cars, being able to wear certain clothes and, you know, pull in a certain type of attention and a certain type of false level of respect or whatever you want to call it. So when I decided to stop the lifestyle I was living, and, you know, at the time I felt like I was belittling myself going to work in a fucking drive-thru. It is what it is. But it helped me come back down to earth and see that, yo, we all the same on some level. We all are inadequate, and we all got some character flaws, and we all got blind spots that need to be addressed. And we're not going to be able to address them constantly looking outward, constantly looking at the next person, looking at what this person don't got, looking at how your stomach hanging down and you want to get it, you want to go overseas and get it cut up and shit like that. That's another thing, the instant gratification that come with this shit. Like, it'd be too fast. Everybody want the microwave lifestyle. And the thing about this, your ego definitely not going to be content if you go take the short route. You feel me? I feel like it's better that you work hard for it. It's better that you go to the gym and get it in if you want to have a better body, if you want to live a healthier lifestyle. But the shit be boiling down to our reasons. It be the reasons why we do shit. And you'll never really truly know the reason why you do something until you slow down and look inside yourself and really sit with yourself and study your own thoughts and study your own feelings and study your cravings and shit like that. That take a level of observation. You have to be very observant. And you can't have a whole bunch of stimulation around you to be motherfucker constantly talking to you, phone constantly ringing, you constantly scrolling. It's going to take you to chill out for a minute. It's going to take you to not be looking at all these millions and millions of images all day long, because social media, I don't know if y'all know, but social media was created to keep you depressed. It was created to keep you chasing the carrot in front of your face. So a lot of us don't even know how to use it as a tool for real. A lot of us don't know how to use it as a platform and an outlet to express ourselves, to do business, to encourage others, to inspire others. A lot of us just looking at it and being looking ass niggas, and being looking ass females and looking ass bitches. You feel me? It is what it is. So like I said, you know, I think it's important that you bring yourself back down to earth on some level. That's why, like, I make sure I'm always doing the most minute, minimal shit on a daily basis with and being fully engaged in it. You know, things like washing the dishes and sweeping the floor and changing the garbage and just constantly asking myself and coming back to my center and being like, yo, okay, am I content or am I chasing something right now? Am I worried about the next minute, the next step, the next the next dollar or the next trip or whatever the case may be. Because when you feeling unsettled, when you feeling anxiety, when you feeling like you ain't okay where you at, that's a symptom. That's a symbol trying to warn you. Like, you know how your gas light come on and the engine light come on, or your oil light come on and say, yo, change oil soon. Your fuel is low. When you feeling anxiety, when you feeling depressed, it's something deeper in you that is trying to tell you. And you feel that dis-ease. And the only way to get to it is to go through the shit. You feel me? So what we up against a lot of times, we up against always little outlets and little shortcuts that's going to stop the pain for a minute, stop the depression for a minute, stop the anxiety for a minute. They got all type of high-powered pharmaceuticals and drugs and programs and therapy and all these get better quick schemes. Even a lot of people in a so-called spiritual community and a motivational community, a lot of people that do videos be doing all this light shit, talking about you need to get up out your bed 3 o'clock in the morning and be super productive and all that shit. Like, that's a motherfucking game. That keep you in a loop. You gotta treat yourself like an addict. The first step to fixing your problems and getting over them and knowing what they are is admitting that you have a problem. I had a conversation with somebody close to me not too long ago, a couple days ago, and they was talking about basically just talking about success and progressing, but speaking on it from a place that it seemed like they feel like they not content already. And I'm like, how you gonna get to being content? How you gonna get to success if you don't already feel successful? And I had to let them know, like, I already feel successful. I already am successful. Every time I set out to set my aim and hit my mark, I feel successful. I don't need nobody come tell me, yo, what you doing is cool. If it's cool to you, that's on you. Cool. If it's not, it's not. I don't got time for that. I'm not in that space no more where I need validation and I need to put emphasis on what other people think. I'm sorry. And it's like people who think and assume that you automatically in the rat race. I'm not. I had to let them know, like, I'm not in that. I'll let that go. So now I can feel fulfilled. I can feel content. And all of a sudden, somehow, things are happening in my life on a daily basis that make me more content, make me more satisfied, make me feel more settled in my life, make me feel like I have more purpose. And it don't come from no validation from no outside source. So when I hear a compliment, I'm like, that's cool. When I hear insult, I'm like, that's cool too. It's one and the same for me. And I feel like that's the space we need to get in. So it's the rise of Simba, the rise of the born leader. Because I feel like we all born leaders. But once we take on this cookie cutter, copy and paste culture type shit, this TikTok shit that we got going on, nobody dancing no more. Everybody just doing I don't even know what that shit be. Like, I really don't. Like, I live in a whole nother, I live under a rock. I live outer space somewhere. Like, I don't really be knowing, like. But I have children, my son, my daughter, they doing the dances, and I'm like, yo, that's chipping away at your creativity. That's chipping away at your originality and you being an individual. So I'm constantly talking that to them. And, you sound like a broken record after a while, but you gotta do what you gotta do. And that's what we up against. I don't think people understand that. We up against allowing the new generation. And I know people don't give a fuck about the new generation. I'm not going to be one of the elders that's just going to act like I don't see the youngins and shit like that, because our job is to build the bridge for the youngins to take some of our essence and bring that over to the new school, you feel me? And I hadn't had that done for me. It seemed like my elders and the generation before me failed us, you feel what I'm saying? And maybe the generation before them failed them, but I know that I stay close to the young kids. I stay close to the young music too. And I'm somebody that listens to all the oldies. Like, my friends be like, what the fuck is you listening to? I'm Anita Baker. I'm Earth, Wind, and Fire. I'm Stevie Wonder. You feel what I'm saying? But I make sure I stay in that bag with the youth. I make sure I understand the slang words and shit like that, but not from a place of I want to be like y'all and try to relate to y'all just to be down with y'all to eat off y'all culture, but not give nothing to y'all. You feel me? And that's where the separation be coming at too, where kids growing up and they feeling like they don't have nobody to look up to for real. So they wind up looking up to perfection, a perfectionist type of celebrity or some shit like that. You feel me? Constantly looking at people with so-called perfect bodies and looking at people with all of these views and that just seemed to be perfect, and it paint a picture in their head to feel like they got to do it too, and that everything they do is monitored and everything they do is going to get a certain type of reaction if they don't do it like the next person do it. So what happens? We just recreating shit. There's no real raw artists out here no more for real. There's no real raw creators. There's no content that's just raw where somebody gonna tell you the truth. Every time I click on a video, it's like even with a lot of the speakers and a lot of people that's supposed to be leaders, it's always like the church and shit. It's always up, but the collection plate got to get passed around. Cash App, here go my PayPal. I got a new thing that you should get into. And I know we all, have to do business and we all have to pay bills and shit like that. You feel me? I have merchandise that I have for sale and things like that, but that's not my aim. That's not my purpose. That's just a byproduct of me being who I am and walking on the journey that I'm walking. You feel me? I'm not trying to sell you nothing. I'm trying to sell you. You feel me? So you don't end up like Scar and shit, and you know what I mean, hating on your own brother and shit like that, tearing down a kingdom that you're a part of, willing to kill your own nephew and shit. So let's talk about the rise of Simba, the rise of the born leader. What it's going to take for Simba to rise, right? What it's going to take for the born leader to rise is for us to have a certain level of trust in ourselves. And this should take time. This is a journey. Because you have to let go little by little of what's already working, what's already familiar to you. And you have to start to try to tap into the things that are unique about you. You have to be able to accept your flaws also. You have to be able to look at yourself holistically, meaning the good, the bad, the ugly, you feel me? And be able to not push any of it away, not ignore any of it. A lot of times we have certain gifts and certain things that's good about us, but because it's not accepted by the family, it's not accepted by the community, it's not accepted by our peers, we kind of push it away. You feel what I'm saying? We kind of suppress it. And doing that, we suppress a lot of other shit. So a lot of us walk around with $1 trillion ideas that we never speak on because we don't want to be the weird person in the room. We worry about what our friends are going to think. They're going to be like, you think you smart? You trying to think outside the box? Hold the fuck up. What do you think you're doing? Like I said, I don't remember the Lion King movie that much, and I'm gonna wind up having to watch it. I ain't want to watch it before I did this video and just base the whole video on Lion King. But I do know Simba, just like Neo in the Matrix, he had to go through a path that nobody walked before. He had to face the opposition, which was his uncle and the hyenas and all that shit like that. And I'm glad I mentioned that. I'm glad I mentioned the hyenas. Because I remember, like, the hyenas in the movie Lion King, they represent the group. They represented the herd mentality. They represented they comfortable when they by themselves. They'll never come attack the kingdom. But if they catch one lion slipping by themselves, they jump on them. You feel me? They try to bully him. They try to attack him, take him up out of here. So it's going to take you feeling like being okay and comfortable with being on your own vibe. Like, find your own vibe. Find your own pace. You're not going to find it in no group. I'm sorry. You're not going to find it in no group. I ain't find out and become content with who I am until I got outside of the group. And I used to wonder, like, damn, why I don't never feel a part of the group even though I'm a part of the group? And like I said, I always gonna say this. I've always been a leader. I've always been a leader. And even when I was a part of the group, I was leading the group, but not leading it from a place of originality, not leading it from a place of being an individual and knowing better. Knowing I know better, I'm still sitting up here indulging in a lot of the shit that the group want to do. You feel me? And I'll just be sitting here like, damn, this shit whack. And I'll be like, damn, it seemed like everybody around me, this is the highest of the high for them. And I'm looking like, man, there's got to be more. You feel me? You're never going to feel content with yourself. You're never going to feel like you made it. And you're never going to feel satisfied until you know yourself. You're not going to be comfortable just holding a stranger hand or walking into a stranger house or walking down the street with a stranger, right? So I feel like that's what we do when we ignore our own intuition. That's what we do when we ignore our own way of thinking, our own purpose. We walk around with feeling strange and shit. Walk around feeling like, damn, I don't really know me. I don't really trust me. So it's easy for I don't want to say the enemy because it ain't no enemy. It's you versus you. But it's easy for outside influences to just infiltrate. Ad pop up. Now you on Amazon buying the shit. Shit constantly telling you and pointing you towards all the insecurities in yourself so that you feel like you got to fill that void with whatever that product is or whatever what that place is or that car is, and then leave you feeling more and more empty every time you obtain these things, whether it's a position in a job or a certain level of education, a degree, something that this system deemed as valuable. Once you get it, you be like, yo, this shit ain't even making me feel, it was a little high, but now I still back at square one. I feel worse than I did when I started. King's disease. So, when you look at the Lion King, Simba had to get tested to see if he can be the king. And how do you rise to be the king? You rise to be the king by facing all the influences and saying, nah, that ain't it. That ain't me. Nah, I know that works for everybody else. I know that's a for sure way to get to the top, but that's the way somebody else did it. I got to do it my way. And my way is not a straight path. I'm going to face some obstacles. I'm going to face some opposition. And a lot of people seem to be getting to the point where they don't want to face the opposition. So now we got shit going on, like I always say, everybody wearing a mask. Everybody getting all these jabs. I ain't really about to say the word because I don't want to get this channel strike. This channel's too early in the channel for me to be getting strikes on my channel. But, nobody want to go up against the beast. So when you do that, you give a little piece of your soul away every time. So, I talk to people all the time and they trying to justify their actions. And I'm like, all right, cool. I hear you and shit, but you sound like a parrot. You sound like you just regurgitate what they said on the news. So you don't really have your own reasons. And now far as a collective, we at like a turning point to where it's like we almost at the point of extinction far as like critical thinkers. We not accepted. Like people that's gonna think twice and be like, yo, and ask questions like, yo, hold on, why is that? How is that? What is that? Where did that come from? Those of us that's like that, we consider weirdos and we doing too much and here you go thinking you smart. You think you smart? Don't think you think you smart. Don't be thinking you smart. Don't be thinking you better than the rest of us slaves. Stop trying to act like Kunta Kinte and run off the motherfucking plantation. Feel me? A lot of us is just not living and just willing to die for anything. Any old thing. So, me, I have children. I can't look my children in the eye if I'm not out here trying to build the bridge and build the road for them and a platform for them to be able to stand on if they choose to. You feel me? And I understand at some point even me being an influence in their lives and in the lives of all children and all the new generation and my elders too. I understand that it's always going to come down to their choice. I understand that what's already working is always the easier route, and most people going to take it. And it's easy to justify because everybody's doing it. You know, I see a person go viral on Instagram, a person go viral on YouTube, and now I see 1,000,000 people try to do exactly what they did. And that person might very well created that lane, might very well have put in that time and trusted themselves. And now I see everybody try to piggyback off them. Like, I'm gonna just copy and paste that. Boom, he did that on TikTok. Bam, he did that on his music video. Okay, I'm gonna just put out the same kind of content and see if I could get the same type of reaction. And it never really worked. And if you do get the reaction, you always got to go to sleep at night knowing that you didn't do it from your own merit. You didn't do it from your own soul. You feel me? So it's always going to be a piece of you that's always going to be poking at you like a thorn in your side. Like, yo, who are you? Who are you though? What is your purpose? Why are you here? Like, I think, like people go to sleep and wake up and that question not just ringing in y'all head. Like, yo, like it never just dawned on them. Like, all right, so it's millions and billions of other people in this world. Like, so what's the reason that I'm here? I know people get abortions. I know people die every day. I know people starving from hunger and shit like this. Like, so why am I here? Why am I in certain positions and have certain luxuries and privileges and yet still give away my power just to maintain a level of security, stability, and comfort in this realm? Gotta ask yourself that. Especially when they out here telling you to do certain things and you don't even really have jurisdiction over your body no more. Like, it's kind of right now, it's on some shit like, why you ain't doing what everybody else doing? Why you ain't putting this in your body? Like, why you ain't wearing a mask? Why you ain't voting for this? And why you ain't a part of this? It's like, yo, because I'm not under the laws of no government. I'm not a fucking sheep, bruh. No, I'm not trying to be smart. No, I'm not trying to be smart. Because even the idea of what being smart is ridiculous. Being smart is based on you regurgitating a whole bunch of information that's given to you, which is an outside influences, which is going to always lead you to question and still deep inside, even if you don't really truly want to look at the mirror and ask yourself, you're always going to feel like, well, what the fuck am I? Who am I? And I got to speak for those of us that are rising up like Simba. Do understand that we born leaders. And we not hyenas and shit. You feel me? We ain't gonna have no easy path, man. Your own path ain't gonna never be easy. And I'm always remind you, like Morpheus said in the Matrix, it works because it's never been done before. But it's hard because it never been done before. So you can't just turn the back of the cereal box over and look at the instructions and shit like that. You feel me? You can't turn shit over and look at no directions and shit like that. And you can see it even in sports and shit. Like, everybody always comparing LeBron James to Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. They was comparing Kobe to Jordan and shit like that. I'm like, yeah, that's a whole different human being. And even though, a person like Kobe and LeBron model their game after each other, it don't mean they have to live up and do the exact same thing that the next person did. They really be sitting up here like bashing a person like LeBron for not breaking all the Jordan records. Bashing Kobe for what he tried, what he didn't reach that Jordan did. And I'm like, what about the shit that they did that Jordan ain't do? What about certain, just leave the comparison alone, period. And like I said before, I said this a long time ago, if I'm being mentioned with the greats, then that's all I need then. Cause who's the best? That's up for debate. Like that's opinionated. But that's the culture we live in. We live in a opinionated culture to where Everybody always judging, everybody always feeling judged, and everybody acting from that place like, I know everybody looking, so I got to make it look good and shit like that, instead of engaging with what you're doing, engaging with who you are. You feel me? Like I'm a loner by default. I'm a loner for the simple fact that you're not about to be able to just hang with me and ride my wave and act like you could stand on your own 10. I hang with wolves. If somebody with me, they their own entity. I done got rid of all the motherfuckers that just want to stick a straw in you and sip a little bit, get a little, you know what I'm saying, get a little, quench their thirst and then come back and do it again. Nah, I'm not going to keep feeding you. I'm going to teach you how to fish. I done did the feeding already. Them days is over. You feel me? They watch motherfucking, look what they did to Jesus in that allegory. Look what they did to him. He fed everybody with the loaf of bread, fish. That nigga walked on water. You know what I mean? He helped Moses part the Red Sea. I could be wrong on that. I don't care. I don't debate. So you could go say I'm wrong about a Bible verse or some shit like that. I'm not really concerned with that. But those that's trying to get something out of what I'm saying and trying to get some understanding, y'all feel me? You feel me? Because there's a lot of that out here. It's a lot of people that think they teaching and think they saying something, but they only like saying, no, this part of history is right. This part of history is wrong. This part of history mean this, and they just making points out of shit that a point that already been made, and it's like your purpose is seem to be be right, and not actually give somebody some shit that they could take and be like, oh, and build on that. If that's the case, we all just keep our face stuck in books. I gotta kick it with you from experience. I gotta tell you my perspective on how I see it. And you don't have to agree with that. That's totally fine. And that's where your power lie at too. Not having to be so agreeable, not having to be right. Understand, you don't have to be right. You don't have to be perfect. No matter how much your mother and your father and beat that shit in your head when you was little. No matter how much they told you, if you don't do this and don't do that, you're going to hell. You know what I'm saying? This shit, like I said, this shit is deeply rooted. It's deeply rooted. It's like the shit, certain things, like I always say on every video, on every podcast, yo, go back to your childhood. Because a lot of things was planted in you, and then you went through the system, and then they poured more water on it, and it just grew, and now it controls you. So, but because you was looking at God as a motherfucker that's so judgmental, you become a judgmental person. You fear people that's judgmental. You think the whole world is judging you, and then you become a critic. You feel me? Of yourself and others. Like Scar, like the hyenas. So you're not able to rise like Simba. You're not able to rise in your respective area of life. You over here trying to sing to the tune of what somebody else is doing and beat them at their game, and that's not even your game. And that's what I respect about LeBron. And I don't even watch basketball no more. And I've been a Lakers fan my whole life, and I don't even, it's so much politics with this shit now. And they got everybody and their mother, 5 players that's superstars on one team, and this is getting corny, so I don't even like to say I'm a Lakers fan. I don't like to say I'm a fan of shit. I admire people for what their gifts are, the same way I admire myself for what my own gifts is. But that's what I respect about LeBron. Even when he was like 16, I remember watching an interview when Kobe won his first championship. It was on like this shit with Lenny Cook. I don't know if y'all know who Lenny Cook is. He was like I don't even know why I'm mentioning him, but he was like a basketball player that didn't make it. You know what I'm saying? But in the grand scheme of things, he reaching back, and he he give it back to the community. He give it back. So he had a documentary, and Kobe had came to their camp, to the ABCD camp, and after he won his first champion. And anyway, they was asking LeBron. LeBron was only like in 11th grade at this time. They was like, LeBron, what you think about Kobe and this, that, and the third? He was like, man, listen, I'm LeBron James. This is a man in 11th grade. And that's what all the greats understand this. All the individuals going to understand and feel me what I'm about to say. And feel me on what LeBron actually said. He was like, yo, I'm LeBron James. That's Kobe. Kobe got to worry about being Kobe. I got to worry about my path and what I'm doing for me. So when you Simba, when you're a born leader, you understand that your rise is going to be based on your own path. It's always going to be something that's trying to pull on you, something trying to push on you and tell you who you are. But ultimately, you're going to have to define that on your own. Your own experience is going to have to define that. You're going to have to define your own success. So they hate people like us. They hate people like the LeBron James of the world, where you could say this and that and the third about it, but the proof is in the pudding. You feel me? And I'm talking about in a character of a person, how they carry themselves. Because no matter how many critics talk about LeBron, nobody could never understand how it would feel to have billions of people have an opinion about you. And that's, when I look at LeBron, I look at him as a human being. So I don't look at him and think money gonna fix all his problems like a lot of weirdos do. I don't look at him and think fame gonna fix all his problems like a lot of weirdos do. Because a lot of people like to throw this word weird around, but that's weird to have an idea about who you should be or who somebody else should be. You're a weirdo. So I'll look at him and be like, damn, he stand up for himself, he stand up for his legacy, he stand up for his family, and it take a lot of mental strength, a lot of spiritual strength, which a lot of people in this world don't have, to walk outside and get up out your bed every day and work towards your craft and be great and be at the top and be up against all these opinions and all of these critics and shit like that, but still be able to not let that water get in your boat and sink you. You feel me? And we see shit, yeah, shit got rocky for LeBron before, and you know what I mean, the boat almost probably tipped over, but haven't it been like that for all of us? So the culture we live in and the society that we live in is constantly using celebrities and criticizing celebrities and getting a lot of people to indulge in that shit. But you don't understand that because you indulge in criticizing another, and I had to learn this from trial and error, because you, as always, because you constantly criticizing another, you participating in that energy. So therefore, you base your actions, you base your thoughts, you base your life and base your emotions and base what you want and think that you're supposed to have and shit like that and who you're supposed to be on the opinion of others. You feel me? So I do my best every day to try to not criticize a person, even when they don't have the level of awareness to understand what they doing. Because like in those good books, it say, they know not what they do. And now I finally understand what that means. They know not what they do because they under the influence. It's like a person that got real drunk. They wake up the next day saying, I did that? What the fuck? I did that? I did that? And people wake up in jail every day. What? I murdered somebody? I raped somebody? Oh shit, I was under the influence. Forgive me. You feel me? So you gotta be careful. You gotta be very mindful. You gotta be very mindful of the energy you project on another and on yourself. And I'm gonna really get into that on another video shit about I have to do like a video about mirrors. Cause it's just so much concepts and metaphors and analogies I could give you to, just help guide you and understand like what reflection does, period, in so many realms. And that's what I'm saying. These phones is mirrors too. Speaking of it, these phones is mirrors, these TVs is mirrors, because we constantly looking at the image on there, and a lot of times we project that onto ourselves and onto others. So we be having these high, ridiculous expectations of others, ourselves, and it leads to a lot of discontentment. It leads to Kingz Disease. It leads to you having everything a person think they're supposed to have, and you still feeling empty inside. And I'm somebody that, because I've always had a niche for counseling other people. Just like I always said, just like as a kid and shit like that, I always draw energy towards me of a person that need help, of people that's in dark spaces, of people that's lost and shit like that. Because that's what your path gonna do too. You know what you're here to do based on what you've always been doing. You can't shake it. Like I'm sitting up here talking on this video right now, but even off camera, all day long, I'm doing this. I'm called to do this, literally called on the phone. I could walk out in the street. Somebody can't find their way around the city or something like that. They're going to ask me. It could be a million people. They're going to say, no, you. I need you to tell me. You feel me? So if you want to know what your purpose is, start asking yourself, like, what are you always called to do? What are you always drawn to? What's always drawn to you just on a day-to-day, regular? What do you do that's second nature to you? You feel me? So it's like I said, man, in order to not be a scar, not be a hyena, you have to be able to observe that activity within yourself. You feel me? You gotta be able to catch yourself like, oh, I'm criticizing another person. You gotta be able to catch yourself and say, oh shit, I'm being too hard on myself. That's another thing. Like, I ain't gonna, to each his own, you feel me? I ain't gonna say I don't like about the culture, but that's another thing we all up against. We all up against learning how to accept ourselves. So it's hard for us to accept a loss. It's hard for us to accept rejection in this culture. Because it seemed like you've been taught to and influenced to take everything personal. You feel me? And like I said, this shit is a game. This shit is the Matrix for real. Like, the people, when we always saying they, you know what I'm saying? The people that create these, what I want to call it, they create these realms. I'm going to just call it a realm, because I'm saying, because we always in between all of these layers of awareness and realms and shit like that. And they creating a new realm, the metaverse, for people to go even deeper into another dream. And I'm going to talk about that shit too on a whole nother video. But we take it personal because sometimes it is personal to us when we get rejected. Because it might have happened with you in your childhood, like I'm always saying. You're rejected by mommy, you're rejected by daddy. So when you get rejected in the world, it's like, oh shit. Not to mention, you got social media, you got the news and everything telling you like you should and should. But like my grandmother told me, should got shot. Should got shot. Every time you get in a jam, every time something that when you go against your intuition, you be saying, damn, I should have listened to myself. I should have just went my own way. Something told me. That something is the real you. Calling you like, yo, stop being a follower. Get out the hyena pack. You know what I mean? So the world definition of weirdo and weird right now is based on the fact that you're not walking with a pack of hyenas and shit. That you're not a carbon copy. So, like I always say, I'm not talking to everybody. It's a few of us. And that's why a lot of times we feel alienated. We feel like we ain't from this fucking planet for real. Because it's crazy when you meet 100 different people, but they all on the same shit. They all regurgitating what happened on the news, what happened in sports, what's the next thing on Amazon, what's the next movie coming out, all current events and shit like that. You wonder, like, why I gotta be the one to care about doing inner work? Why I gotta be the one to care about my purpose in this life? Why I gotta be the one to know certain things? And like the great Bobby Hemmett said, and not even only Bobby Hemmett, but even in the Bible, much wisdom, much grief. You feel me? Much wisdom, much grief. It's hard for those of us that have a level of knowing what's really going on. Even Tupac said it, man. I've been cursed with knowing what life is supposed to be like. It hurts sometimes to see people basically, and people always talking about they selling their soul. No, you sell your soul every time you don't trust yourself. You sell a little piece of your soul every time you say, nah, I ain't gonna trust what I'm feeling. I'm gonna just go with what's already mapped out for me. You sell your soul that way. And like I said, certain symptoms start to pop up in your day-to-day life to where you don't never feel like you're making the right decision. You never feel like you quite got it or you quite arrived. You always feel like you're chasing. Always feel like you're missing something. Always feel like something is not enough. And for those of us that are going to walk our own path, you feel me? Regardless of what the influence is out here, you have to protect yourself. So when you see that type of activity where a person had that hyena type of activity, that scar type of activity, you have to depart, man. You have to make space. You have to get some type of distance in between you and that person. Because in the end, they're going to do what Scar did. Shank their own brother. You feel what I'm saying? Just for the sake of, I said it like I said before. Same thing they did to Nipsey Hussle. Same thing they did to Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and all of those stories. All of those, the world is a stage. So all of those things. You feel me? It's like they did to Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? He showed them how great they was. He told them how great they was. He demonstrated it, and because he did that, they was like, oh, hell no, I ain't about to put no work in to be trying to be doing all that. We already eating good. Like, shit is already good. Don't be coming around here trying to make us go walk our own paths and shit when we already laying around chilling and eating, sleeping, drinking, and fucking. Hell no. Go ahead with that shit. Jesus even told them, y'all could do the things I'm doing and some more. And they was like, don't be coming around my girl doing all this cool new shit. You come around my family showing them what I'm not. Won't be doing that. So when you're an individual, you constantly have eyes on you. And I deal with it every day, man. People just can't understand. Like, they feel like the pack of hyenas be feeling like, who you think you is. It feel like it's flagrant to them. It feel like it's directed totally at them because you like, nah, I'm just be by myself. I see y'all over there chilling, but I don't wanna be a part of that. And for those of us that are individuals and those of us that feel like, damn, our life is a gift and a curse sometimes because we can't be a part of the group that we wanted to. We gotta be Simba. Remember, the born leader, Simba. You feel me? That's who you are. Unless what I'm saying is rubbing you the wrong way, then you're probably a hyena or you're probably a scar. And hopefully that's just a phase for you. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't know. Yeah, but we always have to be able to stand on our own 10 and stick out like a sore thumb. You know what I mean? Can't do what everybody else do. And it's like, it, that's how you know. Because as soon as you try to do what everybody else do, you the one that get caught. You the one that get in trouble. You the one that got carry all the weight when everything fall down. And I learned this early on from my grandmother, like, yo, she always made sure we was aware when we was walking out that door, and I didn't understand the responsibility of the awareness that I had at the time. So it was like I get and try to do what everybody else do, and sure enough, they point me out. They see me. They lock me up. They stop me. You know what I mean? To the point, I remember I was working at Walmart. I was like, shit, I ain't taking a cough drop if it drop out the package. It used to be like open gum and stuff like that. When I used to stock the shelves and shit, I'm like, I ain't even eating no gum. The minute everybody else doing it, everybody walking around eating Reese cups to the manager face and shit like that. But let me eat a piece of gum. I bet you they had me in a room like, sir, look right here. We saw you on camera eating a piece of gum. We're going to have to let you go. And that's where people get these ideas of being the chosen one. You feel me? It's a choice that you make. We all chosen. We all here. We chose to be here on some level. So, but are you going to choose to walk a original path? Or are you going to stay in a state of unsatisfaction because of what the next person got? Because of what you don't have yet? Because of the future, what might happen, what didn't happen in the past? You feel me? We got to come to the moment, man. So I just had to tell somebody recently, man, you got to just be okay with where you at. That's the only way you're going to be okay with where you're going, if you're already okay. That's what we have to understand as creators, man. Like I don't know if you watched another video of mine or heard another podcast, but when I say creators, I mean on the most basic level. Your imagination and your thoughts have a direct influence on your emotions and your feelings. Your emotions and your feelings have a direct influence on your actions. Your actions have a direct influence on your circumstances. And then they all intertwine. They all just recycle and repeat. So whatever influencing you is going to ultimately have control over your life, over your circumstances, and It's like you made your bed, you gotta lay in it. So I don't know, it's some weird times we living in, man. I know a lot of people that got a lot more money than me. A lot of people that have, you know, in certain positions, they have reached and obtained a certain amount of success in this matrix, in this society, in this culture, in this realm, in this construct, and they just still not happy. They just still not content. It's just not enough. They got to get to the top, whatever that is, wherever that is. And like I said, that's the nature of the ego. Always needing more. Accumulation, remember that. The nature of the ego is accumulation. It's going to accumulate a story and a narrative for who you believe yourself to be, who you think you are, where you should be. And this matrix is going to help it. It's going to help build your ego up. That's it. It only feeds your ego. It don't feed the soul. When we speaking about the soul, we got to be speaking about purpose. Because look, when you know that your life is purposeful, you're going to find purpose in everything you do. Even washing the dishes. I promise you. I could look at a stack of dishes and be like, it's a journey right here. I know that I'm not going to be the same person I was when I started washing those dishes. I never do. I always leave relieved. I always leave with a different train of thought. You feel me? But the only way you're going to do that and rise and be Simba is by engaging with life and the immediate things that's in front of you, engaging with yourself and just being okay with life as life is to a certain extent. It's okay to strive for more. It's okay to want to reach some level of achievement and success, but you're not going to reach it until you know you already have it. And to know you already have it is to find it and what's right in front of you. Like, yeah, I know I ain't perfect. I know I ain't perfect, but because I know that I can accept that, I don't expect myself to be perfect. So that take a load off. I could just sit here and talk all day now. You feel me? I don't have to do it like whoever's super successful at motivational speaking or spiritual speaking or acting smart. I don't have to do it like them. I'm me. You feel me? So that I got a load. I don't carry a load on me how most people do. So a lot of times I talk to people, like I said, they constantly trying to find out, where my level of discontentment at. And I'm like, you're not going to find it because it come with doing work, though. It come with a lot of work. But you could accept yourself now. That's the beauty of it. You can accept where you at right now and be at ease. You can be at ease and you don't have to be under the influence of a dis-ease. You feel me? King's disease. Man, I'm about to get on with my day, man. You know what I'm saying? All I got to say is this. Find some comfort, find some, or not. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you what to do. But I would suggest that you find some level of comfort in the moment right now. If you're watching this video, just look around, just chill and be like, all right, I'm going to start off my day with being okay with where I'm at. And when you do that, you're going to constantly get more of that, more and more of that. And your life will just become a content life. And suddenly, watch and mark my words, you'll start having all the things you really wanted so bad, but it'll be from a better place. You'll be able to appreciate it because you're not so attached on it. Yeah, before I leave, I want to speak on that. The nature of the ego is attachment too. You feel me? It's always got to be grabbing on to something else to feel righteous, to feel like it's standing up straight and feel strong and feel validated. You feel me? So a lot of people is in relationships right now because she look a certain way, he got a certain amount of money. That's what the Matrix teach you. That's what society and culture teach you. A man should do this. A woman should look like this. A woman should be in the house cooking and cleaning. We got a lot of these fake ass alpha males out here. And that shit funny as hell because I was thinking about Alpha from what's that shit called? The Little Rascals. And his name was Alpha, right? And it's funny because he was the head president of the He-Man Woman Haters Club, and his name was Alpha. So all these fake ass alpha males out here. All these guys talking about, hey queen, grand rising, hey beloved, I love you. We need to just rise as a community and as brothers and sisters. Like, go, like, that's that pulpit shit. You feel me? That's them reacting what they think a motivational speaker or a spiritualist or whatever y'all box y'all try to put people that do something kind of like what I'm doing right now, whatever box y'all try to put us in. They think that's how you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to sound a certain way, and hey, like, that should be funny as hell. Like, grand rising, hey beloved, queen, goddess. I know y'all women know they be all in your inbox. Hey goddess. That's another thing. Everything become a trend. So now spirituality, you ain't gonna think I'm spiritual. Cause I ain't burning no sage. I ain't got enough sage burning and shit. I don't have enough incense and shit like that. I don't have enough let me see. I don't even, damn, I usually got out. I don't got enough of these gems on and shit like that. You feel me? I ain't doing that. They think it's supposed to look a certain way. Spirituality is knowing yourself, asking why, questioning things. You know what I'm saying? Getting to the bottom of why you do what you do, who you are, man. Don't let nobody put you in no box. You feel me? So yeah, it be attachment, man. People, like I said, the ego, you know, is feed on attachments. So people got attach more titties, attach more ass, attach to other people that's successful and all kinds, or that they believe is successful, and then do all that just to forget yourself. So now you out here just looking like a mannequin, looking like a carbon copy. And you can't be Simba, can't be a born leader, can't rise.